For the past year, I've been doing something that's been really helpful to me, and I want to share a bit about today now that I've been putting it through the paces, giving it a test, iterating on it, and so on. Of course, I also want to mention, in case you haven't noticed, I rearranged my office a little bit. Most of my cleaning, I actually kind of did a whole organization pass on my office, is off camera. The other stuff, while I was at it, I thought maybe I'll rethink my background a little bit, so maybe you'll see some slightly different stuff back there. What I've actually done was about a year ago, I got a 2021 planner. And depending on which one you grab, a lot of them actually start in November. That's why I was able to start a year ago, because it starts with November 2020 and then have carried through with this every single week since. And, I don't know how much I don't want you to start to see the details in this, but what I've been doing is rather than using it as its intended purpose, right, of which you're supposed to do with a planner, like what I did in high school, was I'd write down when certain things were due and I would make my to-do lists on it and so on. Well, other systems are actually way better for that today, right? I mean, let's get real, right? My phone, my computer, I'm using Trello, I'm using Google Calendar. I've got other ways to organize that stuff. I've got a workflowy for kind of breaking down details and outlines of notes. So then why did I get a planner? And why has it been so helpful to me? And what I've actually been doing with it is each day, I use it instead as sort of a micro journal, just logging where did the energy, effort, or time go that day? What did I do, right? And again, so every single day for the entire year has just been making some notes of maybe, some days 3 things, some days 12 things. Because thing here could mean a sitting, it could mean something that was quick but had to get accomplished, like the other day I referenced, a call you've been putting off making, an email you've been putting off reading, a thing that's just kind of lingering over you had to take care of, but you did. You set an appointment, right? Which only takes a minute, but something to have been done to say that the day something happened. And part of what I like about this is actually it's part of the practice that comes out of it. Like I say, I like to put it through the paces of trying it for a year before I tell people about this, because I think too much of the internet is full of noise, of people who are just echoing around an idea they had, but they haven't actually tried, or worse, someone else wrote about an idea they had, and they're just like, well, maybe this applies to somebody else. I think it's important to test it. Also, because that's how I figure out things like the importance of putting in there, not just work tasks, right? Not just things that are productivity related to, and of course, again, if it's your own time, game development, making your music, making your podcast, writing your short stories, whatever the thing is, it's your personal project, or building your side business, whatever it might be. It's also really helpful to put in there the things we tend to not give ourselves credit for because they have to happen or because we do them by habit, right? So if I do dishes in there, I put it in there. If I vacuumed, I put it in there. If I just do various other little assorted chores around the house, that apartment, our case, that just need to get done, well, it still counts, right? If I took the car in for maintenance, even though I had to do that, I still put it in there. And what it does is it avoids us having these sort of black holes of our time and energy where we feel like I didn't do anything that day, right? Or where did the day go? And it's because we're not giving ourselves credit, because we don't even think to put it on the to-do list until after we've done it. And then we say, well, why bother to put it down? Because, it's already done. And it results in this gap in just drained time and energy that had to go there, had to be used for that. And I think it helps us be a little more fair to ourselves when we look back at the day and say, actually, yeah, several things got done. Some of that had to happen. And if I was a little drained at the end of the day, I can understand why. I know where the time and energy went. I can help see that thread. Now, for a while, I was actually experimenting with something more specific than this. I was using a second Google Calendar. I've got, of course, multiple Gmails, because one's for work and one's for personal. And my main calendar of when I've got stuff going on, appointments, whatever. My secondary one, I tried logging per hour when I was doing certain things. So I could compare side by side. How did my actual use of time compare to my planned or target or uses, notes of things, and I found that was not sustainable in the same way that this was. I tried doing some Google spreadsheet kind of similar stuff, trying to just keep track of times and days, and there I was a little bit curious to figure out what ratio of my time and energy that was up to me was being spent on either new projects or existing projects, or maintaining other stuff, things like that, general personal life stuff. That was sort of an interesting exercise briefly for a week or two, but I couldn't sustain those. And again, this was just a nice balance for literally just short jotting, retroactive log. Where did the time or energy go? Where's the energy accounted for? And even without some sort of metadata, this is really helpful to me. I've got other sort of things I can share about. I guess I'll say just in relation to, I said Google Calendar is part of how I maintain my actual tasks instead of use a planner for it. Quick tip on that while we're on the subject. For those, I use the color coding pretty frequently, and I think consistency there helped me a lot. Where I think blue is like a tentative appointment. So if I have like a Calendly, but no one's booked it yet, I've got a blue, comes in as green off Calendly, or maybe it's vice versa. I'm just using that blue and green together means I have an actual appointment scheduled. Otherwise, there's a placeholder. So if I've got a travel or something, I know there's a spot for it. Red means that this has to happen, and it has to happen at this time, right? That's a true appointment. Orange just means that it definitely has to happen this day, but it's movable. So if I'm trying to set a custom appointment with somebody, if I have to meet somebody or have somebody come in for, fixing something in the apartment or something, well, I can see that an orange thing, I can just scoot that up or down as long as that hour gets used that way. And meanwhile, also, so yellow is something I throw on my calendar as a reminder for like, hey, I need to read this that day. I need to be aware of this, but it's probably more so a notification of something coming up in a couple months I should be aware of, an anniversary, some bill I got to pay or something, some major cost coming in on some schedule. It's like paid annually or something. I put yellow as reminders. So simple tip there, we're all on the topic of calendars. Of course, again, I do none of that for this. I literally just write down what I did that day as it happens sometimes. Or I also just it's kind of erasing things off my whiteboard for self-command. For those of you who use my self-command material, it's very much just got this sort of tangible payoff, that erasure of like, okay, well, I did it. I'm done with it. I've put a little bow on it. I can feel good about that. I'll just do something. I'll be in the other room and I don't know, I'll do the dishes or something, which again is obviously like I do plenty and it's a normal part of what I do. But after doing it, I'm like, yeah, I get to go write out my little book. I feel like I did something. I can see how the day was helpful in the bigger picture of stuff that I had to getting done. That's it for now. I just want to share this note about planners and how I use them. And again, it's an easy thing to do. They're not expensive, right? You walk in any drugstore, you'll find these. And that's also where I say like, literally I was able to start a year ago because a lot of them will start in November or December. So this is actually a cool time to pick one up, try it out before the new year. And I'll include with this, right, is maybe while we're still talking about this stuff, lots of bad things out there about New Year's resolutions not sticking. And I think there's a whole culture around people who kind of like figure, okay, well, I'll put it off and wait until then to start. And I think it doesn't help because then it's no longer that time of year, no longer has that hook for us. If you start this before that, if you start this month, if you start this early, mid-December instead, I think what you'll find is you'll have the momentum going into it, that it won't necessarily be tied to this arbitrary date that's going to pass us, and you're just going to blow past it and hopefully be able to keep doing it if you find it helpful. If nothing else, try it out, see if it works for you, but I think it's a good compliment to another side than what my self-command material is about, getting us on task for the thing we're doing now. I find this just helps me kind of keep a good headspace about where the time and energy is going as a logbook, as a retroactive, as a I did book rather than a to-do book. That's it for now. Thanks for being here as always. Catch you another time. Bye for now.